This is the Good Government Show.
I care about my community. I care about my constituents. Their problem is my problem. I don't care if it's a big problem or a small problem. I run at the ground for them. And doing that for such a long period of time builds a lot of friendly relationships, and people know that they call me, they're going to get attention to it. I mean, they'll always be able to solve it because some issues I just can't solve, but we try to work to help them get to where they want to be. Government's on your side. Government is there to make your life easier, to improve the quality of your life, to make the life of you and your children a better place so you could, have a productive, healthy life yourself. Government shouldn't get in the way of what you're doing, but they are there to assist if you need something. Government's not to be your nanny, but to support what you're trying to do.
Welcome to the Good Government Show. I'm your host, Dave Martin. On this episode, we're going to hear about one county's efforts to reduce the jail population, something most cities and counties are dealing with, and probably yours right where you're listening now, they're probably dealing with it too. But leading the charge in Macomb County, Michigan, and that's just north of Detroit, is Don Brown. He's a county commissioner and the board chair of the commission. Government has slowly been realizing that simply throwing people in jail isn't a solution. You can find studies that show in some cases, half of all the people arrested have some type of mental health issues. Half. And jail isn't the solution. As Commissioner Brown will explain, in Macomb County, they recently allocated for a new jail, but with a large diversion center. This, he says, will provide assessments to get people help and keep them out of jail, which is overall simply good government. You're going to hear about that. And Don must know what he's talking about. He's been a county commissioner for over 35 years. He says he's been doing it so long with one goal, to help the people where he lives. I'm earning my keep, he says. As many of our guests have said here on the Good Government Show, county government is most directly linked to the people, and you'll hear Don explain why. So listen to him. After 35 years, he must know something. So coming up, Macomb County Commissioner Chair Don Brown, and that's right after this. The Good Government Show is sponsored by Ourco. That means our community. Ourco has found a way to make government more effective. Ourco provides the OUR platform, and this is an app that blends in-person and digital interactions to connect people with their government, their county, their town, their state. The Ourco app transforms meaningful conversations into reliable data. They can turn results into projects and programs the community has essentially already approved. It's sort of like a flash poll by phone, but without the call and in real time and wherever community members are. Maybe they're at their house or their office or where they're out just talking about local issues. Maybe the choice is between putting in more local buses or expanding the bike lanes. Ourco can get you an answer immediately. With OUR, you can engage your citizens or any group, learn what they want, and build programs and policies that advance your county, your job creators, your constituents. So visit ourco.com, that's OURCO.com, and learn how they do it. And while you're there, book a demonstration.
I'm Don Brown. I'm chairman of the Macomb County Board of Commissioners. Macomb County is the county north of the city of Detroit in Michigan. Our budget's about $1.25 billion, and we have a population of 890,000 people.
What's going on in Macomb County? Tell me about, just describe the county to me.
Macomb County is the center of industry. We have the manufacturing center of the nation. We have more manufacturing and advanced manufacturing operations in our county than any place in the country. Home of the auto industry, as well as advanced aerospace and defense manufacturing. So it's quite it's a hub.
What are cars made there?
We make cars there. We make parts for auto and defense industry. We have the supply depot for the U.S. Army. We supply the U.S. Army with 60% of their needs.
All in Macomb County?
All in Macomb County.
And how long have you been a county commissioner?
34 years.
Well, obviously you're doing a good job because you get reelected.
Exactly, for sure. People punch my card because I'm earning my keep every 2 years. So I'm grateful for that.
How have you managed to stay on this job for 34 years?
Well, most of my career I've spent working for members of Congress, being director of outreach for 2 members of Congress too much of that time, being the eyes and ears for the member of Congress, keeping up to date on what local issues are going that they need to know about to represent their constituents. And along with that, I was a county commissioner. So both things kind of dovetail together. So I've stayed along and used my experience working for members of Congress to benefit my county and my constituents.
Was it hard to juggle both jobs?
It was initially, and there's always a challenge because you got to make sure that the congressional member of Congress is job number one, and managing the schedule with the commission was a issue, but we managed, and we've done well.
34 years. Has anyone served longer than you in the state?
I don't believe so. I think I'm now the top.
What on earth kept you going for 34 years? Why did you keep doing this?
I'm interested in public service. I'm interested in doing what I do. I enjoy what I'm doing. I got involved in government initially because a neighbor of mine had died going to the hospital because the local fire department didn't have any ability to break the skin or administer any drugs. And I figured that was kind of crazy. So I got a little township committee that said, okay, son, you want to do something about it, study it. Well, I ended up bringing a proposal that brought advanced life support to my community. And that was when I was 26 years old. And then after that, got involved they were siting landfills in the county. I go, who does that? They go, those evil commissioners down in Mount Clemens. So I got involved in county government to have a hand in saying that what was going on there. And it's been one issue after the next after that. So, are
you one of the evil county commissioners, or have you stopped people?
I'm one of the evil. We only had one landfill site in our county as opposed to multiples. And that's been a good thing.
So are you one of the evil county commissioners, or have you changed that perception?
My perception's changed now with my tenure. But yeah, we do a lot of good things for the community, and it's really, county government's really the linchpin between federal and state services to the people. And so we're close to the people, got our ears to the ground, and where a lot of innovation about government starts at the county level, ground level, work with our local officials.
We're here at the National Association of Counties Convention in Austin, Texas. What is it about county government that you think makes it special?
I think it's the link, because we're the in between the local government as well as the state and federal government. So we have access to all levels of government to bring help to our communities, whether it's grants from the state to help our locals or federal, and access to all the local officials for up and down the spectrum. It gives us a unique position to help the community, improve the quality of life. That's what I'm about. Trying to help improve the quality of life of our community and our county, and that's what we do.
And I guess for 34 years, people think you're doing okay.
I think I've been doing all right. I'm pretty happy with the results, and there's always something to do. And now my latest project is with our jail. We've just made a major investment, the most significant investment our county's ever had. We appropriated $237 million towards building a new jail annex and diversion center that's going to help prevent people from repeating crimes that.
So tell me how the diversion center works.
A diversion center is when somebody's arrested, comes into contact with law enforcement, they're brought to the county jail, our annex center. Well, they're going to be assessed at the time they're brought into the jail to determine whether they got mental health issues or they're busted for drunk driving or whatever the happened issues. We assess them, and if there's not a problem, if they're not a danger to society, we'll divert them to get the help and treatment they need for their issue, rather than locking them up in the jail where they get no help for their problems, costs the taxpayer more money, and ultimately they're released and do the same crime over and over again, breaking into our residents' homes. We hope to break the cycle by what we're doing today.
How long has this project been up and running?
The project's just getting started. We've we've initiated the money to build the diversion center and the annex center to our jail. So it's going to take some time to design and build, but we're going to start. We're at the starting point. We're planting seeds.
Were you doing something like this already?
To some small degree, but not to the extent we're going to do it, because we didn't have the capacity. Didn't have the capacity in our jail to have a diversion. Didn't have enough mental health cells. So we need to have more mental health cells there and more room, quite frankly, to do the diversion work that needs to be done.
Some people would say building a newer, bigger, better jail is not exactly good for the community. What would you tell them?
It's absolutely good for the community, because it's good for the taxpayer, because we reduce how many people stay in our jail that they have to pay for. It helps the citizens, because we're getting someone's life straightened around that's not going to be a burden to society using services that the taxpayer has to provide for. And it's going to help them from breaking into their homes, looking for money for drugs or other thing else they need on the streets, or shooting up a neighborhood because they got some mental health illness. We'll be able to get ahead of it now and try to reduce that.
What else are you working on? What are the big projects that you've been spearheading?
Well, another major project is water quality. We're on Lake St. Clair. The Great Lakes is a major issue for us.
Lake St. Clair is not a great lake.
It is a great lake to us.
Yes, I'm sure.
It's a connecting water between Lake Erie and Lake Michigan, or Lake Huron. But in any case, we have a lot of development area over time, and we don't have the capacity necessary to treat all the sewage that's just created in our community. So some of it ends up in the lake. So we've been an advocate for investing money in sewer and sewer connection, illicit connections and so forth like that to prevent the amount of sewage going to the lake, reduce that so the water's cleaner.
Reduce? Can you just eliminate sewage going into the lake?
Not until we separate all the sewers in southeast Michigan, which the cost to do that is in the billions of dollars. But we're going to do what we can incrementally to reduce what we can in our neighborhood and try to help out. But eventually we can get there.
How much have you been able to reduce it by?
We've probably reduced it by, since the mid-'90s, probably about 40%. And we've got an initiative right now that's going to take it from our county, probably push that up another 20% when we get done with some work in St. Clair Shores. Our Public Works Commissioner, Candace Miller, who was a former member of Congress I used to work for, my old boss, is now running Public Works. And she's got many innovative programs of which we're diverting $40 million of our ARP money to her to reduce, to help do those sewer projects in the south end of our county. So we're really getting there. We're putting all of our money that we got from the ARP, from the Biden administration, towards infrastructure, lasting improvements, transformational projects. The jail will be there for many generations. Sewers that we're putting in will be taking care of long-term problems. They'll also reduce the cost to the residents who have to pay water and sewer bills. Without those improvements have to be made anyway. But with this federal money, it's going to reduce the cost of our taxpayers to do those improvements.
What did you know about sewers before you took this job, and what have you learned?
I've learned that they're like roads. They break down, and you don't have enough money to keep them up. Like our roads are always crumbling, never have enough money for road improvements. Our sewer and underground infrastructure is crumbling as well. It needs to be replaced. Some of it's 40, 50 years old, needs to be replaced. Sewers are collapsing in our county, and as a result, it costs us many millions of dollars. So now the Public Works Commissioner is going through, and we're funding her with our budget to identify the problems that need to be fixed and repair them before they become major environmental damage and so forth. So
I've been to Detroit. I've been to Lake St. Clair. It's a beautiful lake. I said it's not a great lake. You said it is to us. I saw boats on there. I saw people swimming on there. I mean, there must be a real mandate to make it as clean as possible.
It's a huge economic engine, and it is. Everyone in Southeast Michigan uses it because of the recreation it brings. I'm a fisherman, so I care about the water, but people boat on it. People come out there. Businesses use it to entertain clients. It's a resource for the whole Southeast Michigan. It's one of the good reasons why you want to live in Southeast Michigan, because you got access to the Lake St. Clair and the Great Lakes.
So what are you catching in Lake St. Clair?
Well, right now, smallmouth bass. The spring was a lot of time for walleyes, so we're fishing in the walleyes in the Detroit River. And now I was fishing out there last Sunday, as a matter of fact. Caught a couple nice smallmouth bass and some perch. So it's good times. You know, that lake is is on steroids in terms of fish. Everything in that lake is going sturgeon, muskies, panfish, walleyes, pike, bass, smallmouth, and large. It's got everything in there. It's a great place. As a matter of fact, this weekend, I think the Bassmaster Elite Bassmaster Tournament is going to be in there, having a fishing tournament. So it's recognized nationally as a prime fishery. So it's awesome.
Do you have a good walleye or smallmouth bass recipe?
Oh, I just use some bass. Bass really aren't good to eat, but walleye are good, and we just butter them up with some dips, fish batter, and go for it.
That's it.
It's it. Simple.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. I'm not a good cook, so that's good enough for me. I like it. It's good enough for me.
All right. Okay. How often do you get on the lake?
Try to get out once a week.
Oh.
It's on the weekend if I got time. It's the weather permitting. A little windy. My bass boat doesn't manage those 3-footers and they roll out there. But I was out there last week in 3-footers, and it's a little choppy. But I try to get out there weather depending.
So 34 years. Does everyone know you in the county?
I'm pretty well known in the county because I've been around, so I know all the people and leaders in the county, and obviously my community knows me real well. I care about my community. I care about my constituents. Their problem is my problem. I don't care if it's a big problem or a small problem. I run at the ground for them, and doing that for such a long period of time built a lot of friendly relationships, and people know that they call me, they're going to get attention to it. I mean, they don't always be able to solve it because some issues I just can't solve, but we try to work to help them get to where they want to be.
How accessible are you, and how accessible should people in your position be? How accessible should government leaders be?
Well, we need to be. I'm fully expected. My cell number, my personal cell number is on all my business cards. It's on my personal website. It's on our county website. We're very transparent. Our county's been one of the leaders about being a transparent county in terms of dashboards, all the budgets and numbers. We try to be as transparent. Our meetings are televised, so we try to be as transparent and as accessible as possible. We push out those meetings to all of our local cable stations so that they can, the people can see them. And then there's obviously a place where they can say, guess what? If it's something that interests you, contact Don Brown, your chairman, your county commissioner, to get further information. So we're all about engaging with the community and being as transparent as possible.
You're chairman. How many county commissioners serve with you?
13 commissioners. Our population, we get to our population is 890,000 roughly. It's about 75,000 people per commission district.
What's the big town in your county?
Big town in our county is probably the city of Warren is the biggest. It's the biggest city in the state, followed by Sterling Heights. It's number 2, Clinton Township. But we've got many, my district's the biggest district in terms of area because I'm in the northern end of the county. So I've got 6 townships that I represent. It's the biggest in terms of area, but it's relatively the same number by population.
Detroit has certainly fallen on hard times. I'm sure lots of people have seen the photos of the houses and the abandoned streets in parts of Detroit. The auto industry is not what it was. Has any of that affected your county, and how have you dealt with it?
Well, when Detroit filed bankruptcy, we lost our AAA bond rating, not through any fault of our own, but because of the effect of the local economy on the bankruptcy cost. Sure. We lost our AAA bond rating, but we have a AA plus bond rating where our finances are as solid as can be. And Detroit's it's a good time of the day. Actually, the city's on a rebound. The auto industry is consolidating, and advanced manufacturing is number one. Again, Macomb County leads the nation in manufacturing for the whole country. We're a major key defense center, supply depot for the U.S. Army. Again, providing 60% of all the Army's supplies for wheeled and track vehicles go through Macomb County.
How many cars do you make in your county?
Oh, I don't know the number of that, but we have all 3 car manufacturers in there. Daimler, Ford, and GM are all located in our county. There's a Romeo Ford plant right in my community as well. So we're aggressively promoting the aerospace and defense industry as well. We have Selfridge Air National Guard base in our county, the largest National Guard base in the whole country. We have all 5 branches of the service there. We're on the short list. We were runner-up to get the F-35 next generation fighter to our community. Our Congressman John James and our delegation in our state is working to bring the F-15EX, another model fighter mission to Selfridge. So we're supporting our defense industry, supporting the defense community
and putting people to work.
Exactly. There's 4,500 people at that Selfridge Air National Guard base, and all the ancillary industry that supports it's a huge economic engine for our county, and it's a very critical component for the national defense as well.
Do you drive a Ford?
I do drive a Ford, as a matter of fact. Just bought a Bronco last August. I love it.
Did you go see it being made?
I didn't go see it made, but I knew I've driven enough of them to know that it was top-rated vehicle. It's awesome.
All right. Was your car made in your county?
It was.
Oh, fun.
I think the Broncos are made in Macomb down there, so it's an awesome facility, and certainly in Southeast Michigan. And so we're happy to keep our local auto industry workers. Auto workers and manufacturing is no longer the old rust bucket that people remember from the 50s. Now it's high-tech manufacturing. You need to be a smart person to be working on those auto plants, given the high-tech technology that's going into those auto cars and production.
All right, so now that was the easy part. So we're going to get into your philosophy of government. Right now, you're listening to The Good Government Show. At Valley Park Productions, we've expanded. If you want to hear more good government, join me over on a new show I'm hosting, Leading Iowa. Good Government in Iowa Cities. I host the show with the mayor of Dubuque, Iowa, Brad Kavanaugh. On our show, we talk with mayors and other city leaders across the state of Iowa. We talk about what makes each city a distinctly Iowan city. We share ideas with mayors around the state. We talk about what works and how each city can do better. It's an up-close look at what's going on in Iowa and how the city's leaders are making Iowa better for the people in Iowa every day. There's a few fun facts. We talk baseball in Dyersville, Iowa. That's the site of the actual baseball field for Field of Dreams. elections. There's a lot to Iowa. Come listen right here. We're listening now to Leading Iowa, Good Government in Iowa Cities with me and Brad Kavanaugh. See you there. We're going to talk about, we have our good government questionnaire, and here we go. You ready?
I'm ready for that.
All right. 34 years, county commissioner. Define good government.
Good government is being efficient with the taxpayers' money. Being efficient. I'm a libertarian at heart. I mean, I'm a physical conservative. I'm probably a little more socially on socialist, a little bit more liberal, but we need to be physically a steward. We need to be smart with the taxpayers' money. We spend it like our own money. Macomb County's government is lean. We're not bloated with staff. We're understaffed over all the departments because we run a tight ship, and so limited government is the best government in my opinion.
How do you judge your success?
Judge our success based on the outcomes of our services. Like we're setting up this diversion center. We're going to track what happens to those individuals after we release them and go through the process of diverting them, getting the treatment they need, put them on the street.
No, that's something the county's going to do. You personally, how do you judge your personal success?
Based on the public, whether the public supports me, what I've done a good job. My election every year is a determination of whether they think I've done a good job or not. And the public's been pretty happy with me so far. I
guess so, 34 years. How should people know if they're getting good government? What should they be looking for?
They should look for, first of all, their taxes. How much are they paying versus how much they're getting? Are they getting quality services for what they're paying?
If people feel like they're not getting good government or the government's not responsive to them, what should they do?
They need to be active. They need to engage their local representative. They need to tell them. They need to voice their opinion about they're unhappy. That means, in this day and age, it's so easy to communicate with elected officials. Text them, call them, write them. They need to let their elected official know and get engaged.
How do you get through the static of social media where people just scream and, not necessarily fact-based?
Well, listen, they got it from, my job is to educate them. So, and I can present the information to them and they can choose to take it or not. But, there's a lot of information out there that's flying around and you have to be, it's on them as well as on us to do a better job of understanding what they're reading. And my job is to get the information out to them so they can understand what the facts are. And people can choose to believe it or not, but I can't do anything about that. But we just have to roll through the storms of, sometimes it's misinformation. Sometimes there's a lot of information out there that people that either are good. So it's just got to disseminate what you're looking at.
34 years as an elected official, what would you like people to know who aren't in government about government?
Government's on your side. Government is there to make your life easier, to improve the quality of your life, to make the life of you and your children a better place so you could, have a productive, healthy life yourself. Government shouldn't get in the way of what you're doing, but they are there to assist if you need something. Government's not to be your nanny, but to support what you're trying to do.
Who's your political hero? What got you involved? What got you started in all this?
I was interested from a political elected leader, probably Ronald Reagan, talking about, new federalism and putting government back to the states and putting individual responsibility, for your life and not look to the government for your solutions. But government does have a place and, we're trying to, balance that need for providing services that aren't, necessarily being somebody's mother either.
All right, so I'm coming to Macomb County. I'm going to take a little trip up there. I've been to Detroit a few times. I know the famous cuisine of Detroit is a coney hot dog. What are we having? Where are we going? What are we having in your county?
Well, you can come to Warren, first of all. When you come up Van Dyke, you can have a coney dog at the National Coney Island at 12 Mile in Van Dyke in Warren. Take you there. Then we'll go over to St. Clair Shores, take you over to Brownies, which is right on Lake St. Clair, right in the boat town there, Boat Town USA in St. Clair Shores. They got great food there. And then we'll catch up.
What are we having there?
We're going to have some crab cakes. We got some great crab cakes, lump crab cakes. And unlike other places where crab cakes are mostly filling in bread, these things are 100% crab, and they're awesome. And then we'll get on a boat and take you out to Lake St. Clair to get some sun in the sun, take you out to the Moot and let you enjoy yourself out there. And
what's the Moot?
Moot is it's a bay out in Lake St. Clair where a lot of boats congregate and dock, and you can walk in the water and socialize and recreate.
All right. Is there like an official dish of Macomb County?
Well, we're pretty heavy Italian in Macomb County, so we got a lot of great Italian food.
I live in Brooklyn.
You live in Brooklyn, all right, so you love that then. So you got your plenty of choices of a fine Italian restaurants, Luigi's, it's all kinds of good places out there.
All right, so Italian food, so a little seafood, a little Italian food.
Exactly, for sure. Yeah.
All right, good. As a kid, growing up, did you think about running for office or being president or any of that?
Not at all. I mean, actually, though, I look back when I was in elementary school, a neighbor of mine was running for office down in Warren, and I went and helped his campaigns. He paid us with going to McDonald's, so we'll take you to McDonald's if you pass out my literature down the street. So I said, sure, no problem, we'll put him in the doors. But I had no interest in politics until probably till I was about 16, 17 years old when that neighbor of mine died in my community. And I got, that's crazy. How can they let that happen?
So you started knocking on doors at elementary school, and now you're doing it again.
Knocking doors. I just was going down the street, shoving it in the doors, and neighbors shooing me away from their house. We don't want that, But
Do you still knock on doors when you're around?
I do, absolutely. That's the best way to do it. That's how I've developed a connection to my district, by knocking on doors, coming up and talking to people for a few minutes about what issues they're concerned about, give them a little snippet about what I'm doing, and just establish that personal connection with them as much as you can for 3 or 4 minutes at a door.
So we are called the Good Government Show. We always like to hear about good government projects. 34 years. Give me an example of a good government project you were able to provide.
Well, I've told you about the jail diversion project. I've talked about the EMS service that we were brought to the township. That is probably the best I think I've done. But also I put the Macomb Orchard Trail together. I was part of the team that negotiated and purchased 26 miles of railroad from Canadian National Railroad. We converted it from a rail system to a trail system, rails to trails. And that was a initial premier trail system in the Macomb County. It's now paved for 26 miles between Shelby Township over to Richmond. It's an economic development tool for the community because many people on the trail use it. They get off the trail, they go to local communities, have a burger.
Is it a walking trail or a bike trail?
Walking bike trail, walking hike bike trail. So that's pretty cool. And as a result, now that's tied into the whole Macomb County as a trail network. It's almost a complete circle around the county, and it was the leading elements of a trail system that goes around the whole entire county now.
Have you walked the entire trail?
I haven't. No, I haven't come close, but I have biked about a half of the Macomb Orchard Trail. But it's 26 miles, so you go halfway. All
right, so maybe 5 or 6 miles every weekend.
Exactly, for sure. About 6 miles. It's fun.
All right, Don Brown, you are the chairman of Macomb County Board of Commissioners in Macomb County, Michigan. Thanks for stopping by.
Hey, it's a great time in Macomb County. Come down to Macomb County. We'll take you around.
We'll hit the bike trail. We'll get some Italian food. We'll get some fish.
Then we'll rest out on the lake. Exactly. Great. Come on out.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, I appreciate you and the good job you're doing. Because we want to let people know the good things are going on in government. People pay for it. They got to get value for it. In Macomb County, they're getting a good value for the government right now.
Well, your hero, Ronald Reagan, said the scariest words are, "We're from the government. We're here to help." I think you already proved that that's not true.
Well, it's not true in all cases, but there's certainly plenty of examples where it is.
All right. Okay. Thanks for stopping by.
Take care. Have a nice day. See you around. Bye-bye.
Where do you get your news from? Where do you get your state and local government news from? Because that's getting harder and harder. And it's essential to stay updated with your community. And it's becoming increasingly important to know what's going on in other cities and states because they're likely facing challenges that you're grappling with too, or you're going to face eventually. That's why we'd like to welcome our new partner, Route 50, to the show. Route 50 is a leading online publication covering state and local governments across the country. They've written about states protecting themselves against the rise in cyber attacks, counties using AI to better support citizen services, local responses to crumbling infrastructure and extreme weather, and much, much more. There's a lot there. It's a one-stop shop for issues affecting state and local governments and their residents. And that's you. That's all of us. Do yourself a favor and go to route50.com to see the topics and solutions they cover and learn what other people in government are doing. They also deliver a daily newsletter called Route 50 Today. I see it in my inbox every morning. I check it out, and you should too. Thanks again, Route 50. We're excited to have you on board and being a partner here at the Good Government Show. What is it that county government does? That's the question county commissioners get asked the most, and the simple answer is everything. On the Good Government Show, we're so lucky to have talked with so many county commissioners and other county officials that have shown us how effective county government is. County government dates back to, get this, 1634, making it one of the oldest forms of government in the United States. Think about it. Roads, highways, hospitals, schools, recycling, law enforcement, water, sewers. In most of the county, those services are maintained by the county. That's county government. The National Association of Counties represents all 3,069 counties across the USA. NACo helps county government work better together through things like sharing best practices. When county government works well, that's just good government. We hope to break this cycle by what we're doing here today. That's Don Brown on the purpose of the Diversion Center. That's good government all the way. And good work on cleaning up the water in Lake St. Clair. That's forward thinking, good planning, and a way to look out for citizens. This is what the Good Government Show is all about, shining a light on how government does work to help people, and often in ways that people may not see or they may not even know about. But when we listen to Don Brown and people like him, we get to hear about good government. So thanks to Don Brown and the members of the Macomb County Commissioner. Don Brown, 35 years, that's a lot of good government. We like that. That's our show. Thanks for listening. Please like us and share us with your friends and review us right here where you're listening. And check out our website, goodgovernmentshow.com, for extras. Help us keep telling stories of good government in action everywhere. Join us again for another episode right here. I'm Dave Martin, and this is The Good Government Show. The Good Government Show is a Valley Park production. Jim Ludlow, Dave Martin, that's me, and David Snyder are the executive producers. Our show is edited and produced by Jason Stershic. Please subscribe, then share us, and like us and review us. That's the best way to make sure we're able to keep telling these stories of our government working for all of us. Then listen to the next episode of The Good Government Show.